Okay, guys. Want to do another video here about dismantling narcissism. Talking a little bit about what was actually going on in the mind of a narcissist. Okay, because you keep asking why and how and why. You coming back to these psychological issues that they're having, and that going being on different levels once again. But for starting with a void that was in this person's life, next being them seeking attention, next being jealousy, then envy, then greed, and then it crossing the line and them acting out on it. Once they affect other people, they become psychopaths. Okay, and so dealing with psychological issues and people who are going through psychological issues, it just becomes part of life, and people will tell you that you will just have to deal with it, and that's being a man or something, or something like that. And people will tell you this, and you'll have to figure things out. So I mean, putting things on level, at least you start to identify, and you start to at least you want to document some of the behavior, and taking notes, being scientific about things is taking notes and putting things down, and then taking the stats, the measurements. Being a scientist is taking measurements. Okay, and then you have to do that, and then analyze it over time. Okay, but if you don't have time, and who has times for a psychopath, and you don't want to be anywhere near a psychopath that starts to act out on that. So who's got time for that? Who's got time for them to figure all these things out? Well, you may save yourself a lot of time if you identify a narcissistic phrase. Okay, so what's actually going on in this mind? Okay, so this void that was left by this issue, this parental, could be a parental figure, could be a relationship, could be some type of psychological issue that left them jaded, left them with this void. You can hear a narcissistic phrase. Okay, and so what they'll do a lot of times is that to sabotage something. Okay, well, first off, like I said, they're seeking attention. Okay, and it being about them getting attention for anything. It could just be for talking, it could be waving, could be doing anything, it could be them gesturing, it could be them dressing a certain way. They want attention. Okay, they could be them dyeing their hair a certain way, getting a certain haircut. It could be a certain, because they were able to get attention from that, so that made them feel good. It could be positive, man. That's why telling somebody, giving somebody constant praise is it could be detrimental to somebody's well-being. You know what I'm saying? So you always want to, if praiseworthy was to say something, thank you, good job, hey man, you really did, that was good, I like the way you did that, or something like this. It could be, it helps filling these small little cracks that narcissism are going through, because people have attention. You know what I'm saying? And it could be perfectly natural. Okay, people just feel jealousy. Why do they feel that? It's just in somebody. Okay, it's just in living beings. Okay, because dogs could feel this. Like I was talking earlier about dogs could feel this. You could take dogs, and if you start petting one dog, you ever seen another dog get jealous? Hey, if you go feed another dog in this bowl over here, that's their bowl, and dogs they could start fighting instantly because they wanted that attention. They were willing to fight. Okay, fight to for this attention. Okay, they were willing to hurt the other dog for this attention. Okay, so it's in animals too. You know what I'm saying? And so you have to realize that who taught those animals that? They just did. Okay, so you have to realize that things like that is just a natural occurrence that sometimes just happens. Okay, but when things like that happen, dealing with it and not letting that get out of control is another thing. Okay, so you can save yourself a lot of time. If you hear a narcissistic phrase. Okay, so what somebody could do, and sabotage something. Okay, whenever that gets bad, whenever they spin it into bad, is that they're just trying to mess your stuff up. All ways, shapes, costs. They just want to throw a monkey wrench on something. For what? So they can get a little bit of attention. just to do it. Maybe might give them something to do. They don't have their own um, life, their own agendas. It seems like it seems like if somebody's agenda was to sabotage something, and once again, you're gonna call the police and just go, "Hey, someone's sabotaging things in my life," and they're not fighting fair. Okay, so some of these things is not fighting fair. The jealousy, the greed, the envy, stuff like that. They're not policeable offenses. The police aren't going to do anything. You're going to have to deal with it. And you may be able to, once that's on a healthy level, and coach people back to the zero and the normalness, which is what seems normal, the non and these non this huge vast array of emotions, I'm saying, that people could be feeling, and problems that they're going through, but it's could be a toxic relationship. Okay, so if that crosses the line into trespassing, if somebody has actually trespassed against you, that's going to be a toxic relationship that you're not going to be able to trust this person, and they cannot be trusted. Okay, because they have these tendencies, okay, these psychological tendencies, and they've started to act out on them. You cannot be around this people, okay? It's not going to work, all right? And when that's a friend, a family member, somebody who you care about, even, you can even care about a stranger I have before, but I don't care about you. You may be able to coach them or tell them something positive, but you cannot be around them because they're just going to sabotage everything. And once that attention seeking have got it out of control, you're going to have to nip it in the bud. So when they say this phrase, what they're doing is that they start to insert their own agenda. Okay, so another catchphrase is, so what you're saying is, okay. So if you hear somebody say this, what they're doing is that they're taking an agenda that they're about to spin as being wrong, and they're speaking for you and how you feel. Okay, so when you start to hear this, so what you're saying is that, and sometimes it could be political. Sometimes it could be about another country, or people don't, they want these different type of sensitivities, racism, sexism, some type of maybe, the gender issues that are going on today, this and that. It could be some type of civil rights, gray area, this and that. Somebody, and they may find a little niche that they may want to mess with somebody because they're causing attention. So what you're saying is that, and then they would insert the phrase that they're about to spin. Okay, so they may spin it. So a lot of times I had heard people were going through psychological problems, which it was at a healthy level because they were just trying to spin things for attention. But they were trying to spin it for racism, trying to say something else was racist when I didn't see it that way. I started to decipher it being, and try to look at it from one way, my perspective, try to maybe put the shoe on the other foot, see it from another perspective, and then maybe take it from another perspective and see it from a bird's eye view. Okay, so try to look at things from other agendas and see if it was applicable, that, if the race was the issue. And 9 times out of 10, it was not the issue. It was spun that way. Okay, so I could do this. I even made a Facebook group, where I started to document things that were spun of fake racism, and it could be fake emotions, because these people are just trying to sabotage something to get attention for themselves, for the main thing of saying something else was racist. Okay, so this is a whole another psychological issue where just trying to talk into scientific terms, with somebody like this and that, and my whole deal is you may have to state your issues. Like mine was that I don't practice racism. I don't practice prejudice. I don't practice trying to judge people, by the way they look, by how old they are, by their size, their physical shape. Should all just be irrelevant to somebody's personal character, okay? And it is, okay? But and if somebody was a sweetheart, somebody was a perfect person, somebody was a good person like that, usually you don't end up having any of these issues end up coming up or something like that. So I don't see why people wouldn't get along, you know what I mean, and be perfectly capable of getting along. But sometimes people don't always get along, and when that happens, and when life doesn't go perfectly, sometimes people like to blame things on other things. So it should only be if it was actual decision that was made because of race, this and that. So you have to personally come in to defend this. Okay, so the narcissist has you on your defense. Okay, you have to start to defend. How you feel or how your emotions is, where maybe you wouldn't even be having a conversation if they didn't make a false accusation. Okay, so what you're saying is, and they might insert some type of racist jargon or racist agenda, this and that, and then they'll flip it and go, oh well, that's you did this and this racist, but that's not your words, that's their words. Okay, so this is another deal. Okay, and I've seen a lot of people do this. Okay, I've seen there was actually people that were in the court that and luckily I had seen somebody who was a defense attorney nip this in the bud and go, you don't speak for me. Hey, look, Mr. Narcissist, okay? You're not speaking for me. You're not speaking, this is not the phrase. And once they start to make a false accusation like that, that's a psychopath, okay? Because they're making it at you, and it could be a lie. So basically it's a lie, okay? Basically you start to come back down to that spring. You start to come up the sub level of 6, and it's a lie, okay? Why did they tell the lie? Because they were greedy. Why did they tell that? Why were they greedy? Because they were jealous. Why were they jealous? Because they were envious. Why were they envious? Why were they jealous? Okay, why was the void there? Okay, so you start to see this. So they're inserting their own agenda. Okay, which ultimately gets them attention. Okay, so this is just one little thing. But if you hear somebody start to say these phrases again, you're gonna have to start to realize that one day you're gonna have to deal with this, and you're gonna have to nip this person out of your life, get away from this person. And if that's given an opportunity, take it and never associate with this person again, because you can't. Because if unless they make drastic changes to who they are, you're not going to be able to change them just on this and that, because it's not against the law for people to act like that. Okay, could be natural, but it just happens. So they start to say these phrases once again. Going back over it to them. Well, I was the one, being phrase 1, to being an assertion of a thought, which could be sabotage. In most cases it's sabotage. Okay, all right. But they insert their own agenda. See, because there's a positive thing to some of this too. Somebody could do that in a positive way, and then see that would fill in all these cracks, and it would hold the bind together. Okay, because okay, and it would fix everything because somebody was showing a little bit of love. Okay, but a lot of times people don't know how to do that. They don't know how to act on this. They don't know how to show love. Okay, they don't know how to show love. They don't know how to spread wealth. They don't know how to give credit to other people. And that causes voids and this and that. People have psychological problems where they're not talking and dealing with that. So I was the one, and then the next one was so what you're saying is Okay, so she started to hear this narcissistic phrase used in a negative light, and they're actually saying something that was negative and was unapplicable. It was just a personal attack, actually. They'll start to say a personal attack. And, I had seen this, happen a lot because they were what would be a modern day crying wolf. Okay. Why was the boy crying wolf? Did you ever ask yourself that question? Why did he cry wolf? What did he say about that wolf? He said that wolf was big and bad and was trying to get him and this and that, and he's crying wolf, right? So, you know, he was seeking attention. Ultimately, he was just seeking attention, okay? And the wolf got a bad rap, right? Well, I don't know. In the end, I think he got the kidder. That's not how things ended up. So he someone making false accusations, you know what I'm saying, like this is you're gonna have to start to realize that. Why would somebody even make false accusations? I mean, it could be to try to, to if some of that was to pan out, but you know what I'm saying, when they start telling lies, you're gonna have to say somebody lied. Okay, you're a liar. You can't tell lies. But once again, you call the police. You're gonna call the police and go, man, somebody lied. You better tell lies. Well, they're not gonna be the police, but you're gonna have to nip this in the bud. As long as they're just lies, at this point, you may be, you're not physically harmed. You're gonna have to realize that you can't be around this person until the toxic levels could build until it becomes a physical issue. Okay, so at any point in time, you're gonna have to want to get out of there as fast as you possibly can, because being around this type of person is not going to lead to anything beneficial. Okay, if you have goals and agendas, that all these people are going to try to do is take credit for them and sabotage your hard work. Okay, you want to tell someone taking credit for it and try to sabotage your hard work and then spend things, any which way that they can. So as long as they're getting attention that they didn't earn, they didn't deserve the clout chasing. You're not gonna have time for this. You're gonna have to just, dismiss these people, okay, and not associate them on any and all costs. All right, I'm gonna do another little video here in a second, so I don't want these to be too long. It's already going on 18 minutes here, so I'm gonna wrap this up. Thanks.